Morning, lovely parents. I thought I'd tell you a little stay listening story that happened for us today and see if it's helpful for you. So we're having a bit of a tough time because we've got illness going round and our youngest is not well, so I've been up a lot in the night, and our oldest came down this morning and I was a bit snappy with him. I knew I was being a bit snappy and not proud of it. It was nothing, it's just a small thing. Anyway, I apologised to him for being snappy and explained I was a bit tired and things, and he started to cry. And when you just know it was nothing to do with what was going on. And then he suddenly said that his grandma had been cross with him yesterday. And I knew nothing about this yesterday. I suspect, knowing him, that she used a bit of a stern tone because that tends to come across as crossness to him. And he cried and cried. He never used to cry. He used to get very aggressive about things like this. So for us, actually, having him cry is a big step forwards. And so I just listened and I said that I was sorry that had happened. I didn't try and distract him from it or reason about it. I would have used to have thought it was, very inappropriate that he said bad things about his grandma, and I would have tried to kind of, say, oh, she's a good person and, you can't say that about her. But learning more about stay listening and about how the brain works, I just go with it now. And he cried for a while and said how awful she was, and she came down and he was sort of, kind of muttering about it, and I just sort of stayed with him. And then he raced off upstairs, and I didn't really think much of it. Things were going on with the other children, and and then I had to pop upstairs, and I saw and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said he had to flush something down the toilet. And I sort of thought, okay. Anyway, it turned out later what he'd done was he'd written the words "bad feelings" on a piece of toilet paper. And he said he'd wanted to write, but didn't have room, "bad feelings about grandma" on a piece of toilet paper. And he'd put it in the toilet and flushed it away. And I think this came from a stay listening session we did a while back where he wrote some things on toilet paper again about somebody else he was upset with, and we laughed and laughed as he flushed them away, flushed all these bad feelings. In fact, I think he wrote the person's name and flushed the person away down the toilet. And again, I would have used to have been very uncomfortable with that because, it seems kind of rude. But now I understand more. I find it much easier to go along with it and see the value. So he flushed bad feelings about grandma away, and he came down and everything seemed fine. And then my granddad said he would take the older two out to walk the dog, and our oldest got a bit upset, and I thought, he likes walking the dog. It seems odd. Anyway, it turned out that my grandma's going away for the week. My mum, his grandma, is going away for the weekend, and he was worried that they would go on the dog walk and he would miss out on saying goodbye to her. So for me, just that act of listening through what was going on for him and allowing him to take the actions that he needed to feel better meant he could move past the upset. And suddenly, grandma's back on top of the heap, and he's worrying about missing out on saying goodbye. So I thought that was a really powerful sort of situation where I think if I'd intervened with a kind of, the temptation to be disapproving about the way he's speaking about his grandma is strong. But actually, if we can go with it, he means her no harm. He still loves her no matter what he says. I don't need to tell him that. He will get there on his own. And he did, and she's gone now, and they parted best of friends. So I just thought I'd share that with you. I hope that helps somebody out there. And if you have any questions, you can always get in touch and let me know. And I'll see you all soon. Bye.